So, hi, here is Miriam, a philosopher from Sweden, and here's Joseph, a psychologist from Sweden as well. And he was taking us on a tour of his life 40 years back. We talked about Daniel Kahneman and Myers-Briggs, and we ended our last talk about how can one how can one develop personality in harsh situations? And yeah, so we're going to ponder that in this session.
Yes.
And if I say, because I hesitated because I already had a trail of thoughts jumping in there before I was able to finish my own sentence. That's horrible when you have extroverted thinking as a tendency. But what comes up for me immediately, I said about myself, an INFP would not do well in the army. Of course, there are areas in the army I could probably do well. And of course, I could discover how I can rise to the occasion with my, how do you say, with my core abilities or skills. But I also believe that you have to see for yourself at what point resistance is not tackling resistance is not serving you anymore. You also would have to learn about yourself what is not your place to stay around or to for instance, I know I could be a very good profiler for the FBI. That's what my personality type is about, or be a healer, because that's where I would flourish, and I would still encounter challenges, obviously. But in the army, the fact that everything is drilling and that you need to follow protocols, so all the things that are important to rise to the occasion in the army, I would probably thrive for a little bit. I could explore myself. I could develop my personality more. But there would soon, for me, come a point where I would have to weather so many storms that are not serving me. And that's what I believe for every personality type. You would have to know where you belong, where you don't, where you can, where where's the pivotal point of where you stay and where you know um, that you have to follow through with certain challenges and where not.
And I was also thinking about that it's also about forming groups. Like in Israel, everyone is in the army or has to do army training at least. So so there will be INFPs in the army in Israel.
Sure.
But we find out like which groups they would be beneficial to and flourish in. That is the like another part of these tests, and so you would have yes, better
more lighting.
More lighting. Perfect. Yeah. Yes. Did you work with Myers-Briggs and Enneagram and these things?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you? That's so cool. I'm so jealous. Yeah.
We worked there, It's very good. Yeah, because it is in the army thing, but I worked with them very much, but but I would say, sometimes what's happening here, is kind of saying, oh, life in the army is so different from the life of civilian. No, it's not. It was a very kind of it became regular for me. I was there for 3 years. I was a career officer as a psychologist working there. So it became like a work, and some of it were great. I had great things, happening there. I had difficult things also, but it all was beneficial for my own personal development. It was very strong, but it also were part of. It's a red thread from the Sweden, coming there. It has a story, which was mine also, but the thing is also to see it in a bigger picture. So yes, we were working with these personality tests, and I was kind of very much into Gurdjieff at that time. This guy, and with the Enneagram.
Who is he again, Joseph? Can you say Gurdjieff?
I don't know where he comes from, but it's a kind of Russian guy, kind of sounds. He had this other kind of. It's a long time. I have this book. I never go back to that anymore. But it was a story from trying to see things in a different way, and I like that. I liked also to be challenged with different things. I don't know why I do that, but that was part of me and we were trying out all these kind of tests to see what fits to make the teams develop the best, because they might be in harsh situations, but also not in harsh situations, to develop them, and to develop them, not only to stand out in harsh, but to really develop them, and like intellectually also, and feeling emotionally also. So it was a feeling of yeah, this is the tests in itself were very good to challenge, to do that. Maybe that's why also I use the tests. I don't use them anymore, the personality tests, because I can see them as something that I can stand on, as to develop something else that is in me. It's kind of, and that's maybe the last 5-6 years, that I've gone into more into, I call it andlighet, I call that, towards spirituality, to see where things are kind of connected with me into spirituality, and coming down to my own things, to see where am I connected in my body and my chakras, and to develop these kind of things, because they are connected also. They are connected with this kind of tests. They are tests on a different scale. It's not that they are all together kind of separated. They are part of it, and where I'm working on is to feel more subtle the personality from how you call that, a more spiritual way.
I believe what you say is also that because you have evolved personally, so you've had personal development and spiritual development,
yes,
which enhanced your professional development.
Exactly.
And you became, in a way, more holistic, because your perception has enhanced, all your senses are stronger, and then you can let go more and more of grids. You still use the grids probably, but Miriam used the word last time in a conversation we had. She builds on top of everything, so she has all these theories and models, and you make it a bigger thing, and you are more embodied yourself, and then you
can do these things,
Yeah.
You can. It's not that I left them altogether, but I involve them.
You build on
mix
top.
them, and I mix things.
Yeah, you mix.
Going from one thing to another.
Yeah.
I do because that's rejuvenates myself. Is saying, don't do the same things all over again. Don't get don't rest too much, because if you rest too much, you're getting boring, and your mind stops.
The muscles, the muscles become weaker.
Gets weaker. The brain muscle also, and the body muscle gets weaker. You have to change all the time. It has to be some kind of a challenge all the time in this thing, in order for you to
it has to evolve,
thrive. thrive. We have to thrive, and that's I'm kind of using this kind of the tests. It's kind of, it has to be a challenge in your life, doing all these kind of things together with all the others. Mix salad, putting, it becomes very tasteful. And
when they say to me as a healer also, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're the Reiki master, I say, yeah, but I've been doing Reiki since 2000, like 20 years or something. And I said, but I'm also letting go of the Reiki because I've evolved. And then I always say something like, I put everything in the blender,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
whatever comes up at a certain moment in time, or I allow
that's
that.
a very good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
That's maturity.
Not to be conservative, orthodox staying with one of the things. No, you are kind of looking at things. You mix them. And what really suits you, you take it.
Yes.
Because everything is good.
And this is how the systems. Yeah, and that's how the systems are not limiting.
You're not
limiting. Yeah.
And the body also, has to be into some kind of challenge, because if it rests too much, it sinks. It doesn't thrive.
Yeah.
So it's rejuvenating. It's the body and the mind goes together. That's how it is. So do the same here.
They're anti-fragile, like fragile is a porcelain thing that if you drop it, it breaks, and anti-fragile is something that you have to tick, tick, tick a little bit, because otherwise it breaks, like a muscle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that is the mind and the spirit and the body and all of these things that you have to open the windows, and you have to revisit, and you have to go have like an influx of new things. Yes. And you have to change them, and you move, and we've been talking about this over all the time. This movement and this just do something. Yeah.
That's why I also think that this period, this COVID thing, it's very good, because it changes all the kind of
it changes
old habits.
Yes.
People have to do that.
Yeah.
Jag vill att saker och ting ska bli som vanligt. But people say, that's a Swedish kind of saying, I want the things to be as usual, This is, no, not, it shouldn't be as usual, because then you're thriving.
Yeah,
and everything is always changing.
Yeah, because that's the truth.
That's the truth. That's the only thing that's certain, that everything is always, that's the only predictable thing in the world, that everything is always changing.
Yes. Yes. And we want to stay, sleep, No, it's, there's a time when you're dead, then you're dead. But before that, you're living. And that's the kind of, that's how you were born, you're born in the image of God, meaning that's the most important thing, that you are living.
Yeah.
That means that because you were given this kind of thing to live. That's why. Live. So
I also have to think of a philosopher, Miriam, you know him, Ken Wilber, who is all about integral development, more or less. So that's the word that comes up for me now. Ken Wilber is a psychologist and philosopher, and he combines all the Western and Eastern philosophies. He looks at all of them, and he puts them opposite of each other, and he reflects on that. He's been doing it for years. His work is so extensive. It's really amazing to look at as well in the light of this. Yeah. So if you didn't so far, then for the both of you, do so. Ken Wilber.
I think so too. Because people want to put me in a slot.
Yeah.
You belong to that. You belong to that. No, I don't want to be in fuck.
Fuck, a label. You don't want to be in a box. In a box. Yeah.
So I'm kind of different, and that's
like everyone else is also.
Yeah, we are.
Everybody else is. Yeah.
But the way I feel about like when I learned Myers-Briggs 5 years ago or something. When I studied that and studied the cognitive functions, this idea from Carl Gustav Jung that is at the base of it, I felt that the best thing, one of the greatest things about this is that I don't have to be so edgy. Like I can soften my edges a little bit, and I don't have to.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be so obvious to everyone. Oh, here goes an INTJ who's like staring and thinks she's better than everyone else, and and being misunderstood in that. In my particular flavor of misunderstood, like everyone is misunderstood in their particular flavor. So when you learn the entire system, not just your own type, never just your own type. Like you have to
never just
if you only learn your own type, then you will use yourself as standard all the time.
Yeah. No, learn about entire humanity.
Yes.
It's so lovely to use. Yeah.
And then the same with the Enneagram, because the Enneagram that I only just got into last summer, but now I see a dear friend for many years to come in the Enneagram, because and that is completely different. So it has 9 types instead of 16 types, or it has 27 if you look at it that way. And the way the Enneagram works is it shows how do you become when you are under stress. So if I can learn to recognize that very quickly, and if I can just look at someone and I can guess, this person is under stress, and I can really I can be a much better help to other people, and I can be a more balanced and nicer person. I can be a better person for knowing these systems. Nice. Enneagram also shows where does each type go when they are relaxed, when they feel good. So in that way, I can help if I recognize what type other people are. I can sort of pull them slightly. I can in the right direction. To help with this,
stimulate and motivate.
But that said, these tests are very bad, and I took several Enneagram tests. I think I took all I could find online in one day. They all gave the wrong result. So the only option was to learn the entire system and then type myself. And with Myers-Briggs, it's the same, that the tests are not very good, and you should take several of them and then also learn as much as you can if you're interested. I mean, some people it's really not a point of interest until they are past 50. That you're quite comfortable, and then something happens when you're 50 plus, and then you start to want to look for, like, integrate your
expand your personal horizon or something.
You get bored with the
and well, that should be the case with people evolving and maturing. I love to next time, then after the Enneagram, bring in human design, because it's actually also about looking at a person, but then combined with astrology and the Kabbalah and everything. So maybe from the Enneagram we could skip to learning oneself for personal development reasons, as I did with human design.
That's brilliant. I recently did this talk about my infatuation with Kabbalah, and about the points of the tree of life that you can place on top of your body, and how these points correspond to the chakras. So it's kind of the same wisdom pops up in all these systems, and when you know them all and you put them all together, you can, and on top of each other, and you can see sort of where it flows the most, and you can sort of take what resonates and leave the rest, which is a good general rule for learning these systems. But that's very nice. And Enneagram, my last thought for today, I think will end soon. The Enneagram, to me, it seems to correspond quite well to astrology and your birth chart, which is another thing that I got into this last summer in 2020 that I was never really that interested in, but there seems to be points there too. So keep your mind open enough to allow for these crazy fluffy ideas, and still look for the wisdom in them.
Yes. Good.
Is that our ending? Maybe it is.
Yes.
Look for the wisdom in the fluff. Perfect. Oh, I had one more thing that I wanted to say about Daniel Kahneman and the personality tests that I read about that he did. And he said that they devised a system with questions that they are still using in the army 40 years later. And he said that the last question, after you had filled in all of these things, it was to ask the questioner, what is your gut feeling? Yeah. So there is an element of the unstructured, unscientific, unmeasurable that is an essential part of understanding the human, right? This gut
Yes,
feeling
there
must,
are.
it must
Yes,
be there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they are.
I have many books here also on how the brain actually is even, well, how we as human beings are even more irrational as we believe we are. We
Yeah.
believe that we comprehend ourselves and that we can be objective, and how that is actually not the case.
Yeah.
So I have many books on that topic as well here, and it's interesting. Yeah, we should have more talks on that as well. The
Yeah,
soul, gut
rationality.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots to revisit also.
Yeah. Rationality, reasoning. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Logic. I love that. Philosophical.
And even what comes from coping, and if what you say with the Enneagram, that you have your low side, or with MBTI also, I'm sure that people cannot be introverted and extroverted, and they call it ambiverted. No, all MBTI types have 2 extroverted functions and 2 introverted functions. And if you live not according to your biorhythm and feel depleted all the time, but still think you're an extrovert, then no, the thing is to say you're probably acting out on something. You're not extroverted because you also don't feel very well after extroverting yourself all the time when it goes up against your biorhythm. So you have to revisit your personality and see what's really there for you, because there's no such thing as an ambivert. Well, a psychologist told me that. So,
But I am so I am kind of I'm both extroverted and introverted at the
Like
same
everyone.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah, but it depends. Like your recharging happens at another moment than when you're extroverted with people. And the thing that distinguishes you as being an introvert or an extrovert by nature, like by personality type, is when do you recharge, like amongst people or solitary. There's a difference.
Yeah, but that's also, for me, it's a different kind of also in settings. You know, I can feel that, for example, in this group, I can recharge when I'm in the group. You know, being kind of quiet, and I'm recharging. But I can also, most of the time, when people are kind of leeching types, I need to get out and be on my own to recharge.
Yeah.
But that's a kind of different things going on. But I don't know. Sometimes you recharge while you're in a very stressful thing. There's kind of a dynamo going on inside of you that's kind of recharging you very strongly while you're in a situation that is taking a lot of energy from you.
Yeah.
Oh, like for example, Corona.
Yeah,
Like,
for example.
yeah. Some people have recharged during.
Yes.
Some people have gone burnt out.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
But when you think about personal development and self-insight, you know that you have reached somewhere when you feel good. When you feel good, you know, and when you're okay, when you're okay with your energy levels, then you know that you have you're on the right track. So this is the gut feeling that will tell you, am I on the right track? Does it feel good? Yes, you are. Yeah. But we need to end this now, although I want to keep talking for hours and hours as usual. But we'll meet again soon, and just end it here. I'm sorry, I have to. I have to do that.
Yes, to be continued.
To be
Thank
continued.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.